Timberwolves owner Glenn Taylor wants Butler traded potentially by tomorrow. And so far, few franchises, if any, are engaged in serious conversations with the T-Wolves. That's also according to Woj. There's a bunch of teams that seem to be interested: Brooklyn, Detroit, Houston, the Clippers, Miami, Philadelphia, the Cavs. Let's see where it all goes. Let's bring the one, the only, Stephen A. Smith. I'm sorry that Jalen isn't here this morning. I will do my best to argue with you.
I'm not sorry. Listen, you know, Jalen's been beat up pretty bad over the last few weeks, and he needed a break. He needed a reprieve from it. We understand. I sincerely hope he recovers.
Okay, let me just say, I love the way you were dressed. So I just get that out of the way so we don't have to have that part of the conversation.
Thank you so much.
Minnesota, what's going to happen with Jimmy Butler? And are they getting this thing right?
Well, he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone. He doesn't want to be there, and he has minimal respect for Andrew Wiggins, an individual who he believes plays for his money more so than plays for winning basketball games. Karl Anthony Towns obviously is an ultra talent, worthy of the max, considering that it's Minnesota. And you know what? You ain't going to be able to recruit in free agency to get anybody in Minnesota. You better hold on to what you got. And if he's willing to sign that max, you have to take care of him. No question. Plus, he's a young stud. But everybody has known that Karl Anthony Towns is the future of this franchise, and he's the face of this franchise. So Jimmy Butler wasn't averse to that. He just wanted him to care about winning just as much as he cares about his numbers. And when I spoke to Jimmy Butler, he said that wasn't the case. He believes that Karl Anthony does care, but he's going to be more forthcoming in the days to come. He just wants everything to go down. In the end, he has to end up somewhere. Jimmy Butler is hard-nosed. He's hardcore. He wants to compete. And let's face reality. You're the Minnesota Timberwolves. You can't compete. The best thing you have going for you is the fact that you got to the playoffs and you got bounced out in the first round of 5 games by Houston. This is not a championship contender. Jimmy Butler wants to find himself in an ideal situation where he's in a major market or he's in a championship contender, and the preference would be both.
But let me just, I agree with your premise that they're not a championship contender, but then something is missing, because you have a supermax contract in Karl Anthony Towns, and you have a max contract in Andrew Wiggins, and you have a perennial all-star in Jimmy Butler. That should be the making of a championship team. So why isn't it? If you have 3 guys of that who are paid that way, they're paid like superstars. Why are they so much less than they should be?
Forgive my words, but it's just a cute question, and here's why.
Yeah.
You know why it's not good enough? Because they don't have James Harden, and they don't have Russell Westbrook, and they don't have Steph Curry, and they don't have Kevin Durant, and they don't have Klay Thompson, and they don't have LeBron James.
These guys are paid like they are that.
These people are, well, again, it depends on the market. You can't have everybody. So if you're in Minnesota, yes, even though the parts that you have aren't good enough, you know that they're the best parts that are available to you, and they're going to command what the market says they're allowed. If you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, can you afford to lose Karl Anthony Towns for 82 games a season, 41 home games? You cannot. You cannot do that. And that is the problem. That's why you see guys that, and I'm not saying this is the case about Karl Anthony Towns specifically, but you see guys getting paid max dollars that ain't max players. But you got to pay them the max because the market says if you are the face of the franchise, that is what you garner.
But why isn't he a max player? Why shouldn't he be a max player? He should be a superstar.
No, I agree.
Yes.
I agree with you about Karl Anthony.
He's a 7-footer with point guard skills.
No. I didn't say. I specifically said I'm not alluding to Karl Anthony Towns specifically.
Then what is Wiggins?
But there are. Well, Wiggins is a good player. But is he worth $29 million a year?
Why the hell they give it to him then?
Because, again, you got Wiggins. He's a young guy on the come up. You're paying for potential. And more importantly, you can't get access to the other dudes because who's coming to Minnesota? Do you understand that we are in the sports broadcasting business and we don't want to go to Minnesota? So why would that? Why you don't get other people that want to go to Minnesota? You out cold in this,
Would you rather have Jimmy Butler or Andrew Wiggins?
Me personally, I would rather have Jimmy Butler.
Me too. Then why are they getting rid of him and keeping Andrew Wiggins?
Because Butler wants out.
But Butler wouldn't want out if Andrew Wiggins was still there and they paid him Andrew Wiggins money.
I brought up Minnesota for a reason, Greeny.
So he just wants out of Minnesota.
He wants out of Minnesota. You understand?
Yeah.
And if you listen, I was there for the Super Bowl. I didn't want to get out the car.
Yes, I agree.
I didn't want to get out the car.
It was very cold.
I left the Super Bowl a day earlier to get out of Minnesota.
I understand that. I got pneumonia. I literally got pneumonia at the Super Bowl in Minnesota.
I'm just saying, let's be honest about it. Let's be real about it. There are certain places that people don't want to go. They go there for the money. They go there for the situation. But do they really, really want to go there? When Greeny goes on vacation, I have never heard you say, I got to get to Minnesota.
In the summertime, I'm told it's lovely. They have a lot of lakes.
You're told, but you don't know.
There we go. No, you're absolutely
go.
correct. So the bottom line of it is, because I only have a second left, where's Jimmy Butler going to wind up and when?
I have no clue. If I'm Philadelphia, I try to get my hands hands on him. If I'm the Clippers, I try to get my hands on him. Those are the two teams that I think should be looking at him. Whether that's going to be the case or not remains to be seen. But I think Philly, with Ben Simmons being that point guard, with Joel Embiid there, I think Philly should try and get him.
Early this week, like as soon as today?
I think it could happen today, but I think it may happen earlier this week because the owner has said, look, this is what the situation is. Tom Thibodeau does not want to do it, but Tom Thibodeau better be concerned about his job because right now he's on shaky ground.